If you're a professional truck driver and you just read that question, the answer to that question is very simple. Very simple. Thing that happens to a truck driver out on the road that would, in normal situations, require people to be concerned or to have empathy for whatever it is they went through, whatever hardship they went through out on the road. There are more things that happen by other truckers that are on the opposite end of anything you would be empathetic to, okay? What I mean by that is, so for every one truck driver that gets robbed and their shipment gets stolen, or, you know, they have an accident, you know, caused by some phantom car or something like that out on the road, you know, there's 3 or 4 other drivers in probably the same time frame that are committing horrible crimes behind the wheel of trucks. You know, I'm speaking to my fellow truck drivers, the people who know the life on the road. You know what it consists of. We do understand that most truck drivers out there on the road, I would say upwards of 90% of drivers out on the road are good people. They're not doing all these things that cause turmoil in other people's lives. But there's that 10%. There's that 10% of other drivers that are just, whatever the situation is that causes these drivers, and I have countless examples to give you in this video about these drivers who've done these things. And this is not me coming down on all drivers. You know, this is actually calling for us drivers who have some morals about us, you know, who have a standard, who don't just want to, you know, be lumped into the same category with scumbags who kill busloads full of kids and, you know, do all these horrible things around the country that if you've been in this industry long enough, then you've heard some of the horror stories that I know. Yeah, I mean, I just read a horror story 2 days ago about a driver, you know, on the East Coast. I won't even mention the details of that story. It's still under investigation, but just horrible things that go on a regular basis in the trucking industry. And you know, if we don't stand up, and I say we as in truck drivers, you know, I'm a former truck driver. I was out there for a long time. And if we don't stand up on behalf of what's right, you know, what's morally correct to do, we're always going to be looked at as, you're just another scumbag truck driver who, you know, could potentially be the guy who mows down a mother and child on the side of the road because you weren't paying attention. When you were driving your truck, you weren't paying attention. You were too busy doing this. You were under the influence. Whatever the case is for these situations, we have to weed these bad apples out of the bunch, or it's going to spoil it for us, to be honest with you. You know, it's not fair to the honest, hard-working American truck driver who goes to work, who lives on the road, who makes these sacrifices for his family, for his country, for his community. You know, all these things. You make these sacrifices, but you live under this stigma that's been created by the 10% of scumbags. So this is a call to action for us as truck drivers. This is a call to action. If you're tired, we have to come together as drivers. We got to figure out how to get these scumbags out of the industry because they're ruining all images of truckers, you know? Now, I'm not in any way suggesting that there aren't a lot of truck involved accidents that the truckers completely 100% not at fault. We know that that's definitely the truth also. What I am saying is that the perception of the public when it comes to truck drivers, when all they have to remember are the horrible tragedies that 1 or 2 or 3 truckers have done over the last few months, that resonates in people's minds, and that's what they remember the industry as a whole by. So we should do our part if we want to change that narrative about truck drivers and how truck drivers are perceived because of some of the very selfish actions of some of our colleagues in this industry. It's you know, it's our responsibility to kind of do our part to first, for one, get those people out of this industry, and for two, to kind of change the narrative by showing that truckers are not just the animals that have zero regard for human life that some people might believe we are based on the things they've seen. So yeah, this is a video of you know, informing the public, informing the trucking community of things that we already know as truck drivers that go on in our industry, but we need to address. We can't expect the problem to go away because it won't. The problem being drivers that think that it's okay to have a job carrying tons of freight across the interstates of America and intermingling with other traffic, and you know, doing that under the influence of drugs or alcohol. It's unacceptable, and as a trucking community, we should put our foot down at some point to save you know, to save the public from people in our industry that would engage in such irresponsible behavior. So yeah, subscribe to my channel, and we'll post more videos on things like this, and just try to keep people aware of things going on in the trucking community that that they should be aware of. So yeah, this is Iron Will, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.